Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shinica Thomas. I'm the chair of the Wake County Board of Commissioners, and I want to thank you all for being here on this special day. In just a moment, we'll get our gold scissors out and we'll cut the ribbon on the Wake County Legal Support Center. We know that it will be an excellent resource for residents who can't afford an attorney and are trying to navigate the complexities of the justice system on their own. And there are many people who helped take the Legal Support Center from an idea and turn it into what you see today. This afternoon, you'll hear from three of them: the Honorable Chief Justice Paul Newby, Commissioner and Chair of our Public Safety Committee, Matt Calabria, and the Honorable District Court Judge Ashley Parker Dunstan. I'd also like to recognize my fellow commissioner who's here to celebrate this milestone, Dr. James West, and County Manager David Ellis. The conception of the Legal Support Center, I want to talk a little bit about that. Sometimes you all's solutions to challenges facing our community come in the most unexpected places, and I think that was certainly the case with the Legal Support Center. So last summer, Judge Dunstan and I were actually at Chavis Park with our families, just having a regular day. We were sitting by the splash pad in two folding chairs, talking about issues that were weighing on our minds. Really, that's what we were doing. And I shared with her some of the struggles that residents were facing because they didn't understand how the justice system worked, and they couldn't afford an attorney to help guide them through the process. And I wanted to help, but I didn't know what to do. So here was Judge Dunstan. And she told me that she was working on a concept that could be the solution that I was looking for. And that concept was the Legal Support Center. I instantly loved the idea, and I told her to send the proposal to the Public Safety Committee, which Commissioner Calabria chairs, and that would allow us to bring the right partners on board and move this idea forward. And forward's exactly what happened. So after months of diligence and hard work, we are at the finish line today, and I could not be more excited. I imagine that I'm not the only one. Chief Justice Newby is super excited. I know he shares my excitement because he sees firsthand how difficult it can be for folks who don't have attorneys to move efficiently through our complicated court system. So I invite Chief Justice Newby to come forward now and talk about the benefits he thinks the Legal Support Center will bring to our residents.
So this may surprise people, but most folks are not very happy when they have to go to a courthouse. My wife, Macon, wave at everybody, Macon, and I have visited all 100 counties. We have talked with our deputy and assistant clerks, our magistrates, our bailiffs, court reporters, certainly our judicial officials. And we've discussed with them the challenges that we have. So many folks who go to courthouses not only don't want to be there, but they're newbies. Now, I like newbies, okay? I mean, you know, just to be clear. But, I mean, think about it. If you got notice, you have to be at the Wake County Justice Center or courthouse. What building do you go to? What floor? Or you're a small business owner and you've had problems with a collection. What do you do about that? You're somebody who is a tenant and you're having issues with your landlord. How do you address that? You've got some family issues that are going on. And you need to come to the court system. How do you begin to address those issues? Particularly when having funds to hire an attorney may be very difficult. Our state constitution says that justice is to be administered without favor, denial, or delay, and the court shall be open. Well, what does it mean an open court? You just unlock the door and let folks come in? I mean, don't we need to provide some type of assistance or navigational tools as folks have to come into a building where a different language is spoken? We speak legalese here. We speak lawyer. Folks go to law school for a long time and pass the bar to be able to professionally speak lawyer stuff. Well, what about for the average person? How can they navigate a very perplexing situation when their emotions are probably high because, again, they don't want to be here? Who do they ask? They go to the deputy or assistant clerks. And what answer do they get? Ma'am, sir, I'd really love to help you, but I can't practice law. What do you mean you can't practice law? I don't even know what that means. And maybe it's with their judge. The judge has called the case and they're there and they're trying to say things in kind of everyday language, and the judge is trying to translate that into language that the court can understand. And what if the other side is represented by an attorney? What does that mean? And how can the judge be fair under those circumstances? To have a resource like this, to send to individuals, to help them in situations where it's generally pretty emotionally charged, to help them navigate not just the physical locations, but certainly the challenges of a layperson encountering the legal world. It is vital for the citizens of Wake County. And who has arisen to the task? Wake County commissioners. When you see a facility like the Wake County Courthouse or the Wake County Justice Center, they don't just happen. Across the state, we, the judicial branch, have got to have a partnership with our county commissioners. I'm proud of the Wake County commissioners and their dedication and support of equal justice for all the citizens of Wake County. Can y'all please recognize them for that? Thank you. We have a program where lawyers have trust accounts and they earn interest, and we use those interests for various projects within the judicial branch. And one of those projects, I'm proud to say, is our Wake County Legal Support System. So we thank the commission that does the interest on lawyers account. The Wake County staff here in this building that have worked hard here, I know Blair Williams, the clerk of courts here. Blair, thank you and your staff for your support of this project. Administrative Office of the Courts, I'm grateful to see some of my staff members from there that also have provided the support that's been needed. Equal Access to Justice Commission staff has been instrumental in seeing this come about. Wake County Bar Foundation, the Wake County Bar, we're so grateful for them. But I got to tell you, I'm an ideas person. I love ideas. I love innovation. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different outcome, okay? And there are lots of good ideas as I've traveled across the state, as I interact with our folks. So you ask yourself, what's the difference between a good idea and one that gets implemented? And it's a person. And Judge Ashley Dunstan is that person for Wake County. She is the reason that we are here today. And Judge Dunstan, thank you for your vision. Thank you for your hard work, your tenacity. Thank you for all the characteristics that you bring to bear for all the citizens here of Wake County. Thank you for that. The timing of this could not be better. E-courts, electronic filing will be going live in our pilot districts, Wake County being our premier pilot district. But we also have Johnston, Lee, Harnett. That will take place on February the 13th. Individuals will be able to come here to get some guidance, to be able to go through a list of potential filings that are legally acceptable. We call it guide and file. They'll get their guidance, and then they'll be able to file those things and to be able to have their day in court so we can meet our constitutional mandate of equal justice for everybody. So, Judge Dunstan, thank you. Thank you to all of you who are participants, but thanks for everyone for being here as we spread the word that there are these opportunities now for folks who are unable to afford attorneys or for other reasons if they want to represent themselves to have this kind of guidance. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice Newby. Thank you all for being here. We were joking earlier that it's really hard to fill a room in general, especially on Friday the 13th of all days. But I was telling folks we're going to need a bigger legal support center, considering how well you all have filled this place up. But thank you again to the Chief Justice. Thank you to all of our community partners. I see Ashley Campbell with Legal Aid here, our Equal Access to Justice folks, and so many others who have really come together to make this possible. It is a community-wide effort, and has been to get this done, and it will continue to be. You know, the fact is that the legal system, especially for folks who don't have law degrees, can be costly, complicated, and confusing. And I say that as someone who does have a law degree and knows how confusing and costly and complicated it could be. And I often joke, and I said when we initially announced this, that I, as an attorney, probably couldn't afford myself. And I think that's echoed by a number of attorneys. But that combination creates for so many families what feels like an impenetrable barrier that cuts them off from meaningful participation in our justice system. Spending hundreds of dollars an hour on attorney's fees really isn't an option when you are struggling to put food on the table or a roof over your head. And so it's not surprising that we see in the 2020 Civil Legal Needs Assessment that 70% of low-income families in North Carolina encounter at least one legal issue every year. And families, and those families, 91% of them identified cost as the most significant barrier to them being able to represent themselves and put their best foot forward in court. The result, of course, is that a lot of residents are left to fend for themselves. They try to navigate the complexities of our justice system alone, and all too often they struggle to determine where they stand and what the next steps are in their legal journey. That can leave families confused, frustrated, defeated. It can lead to bad results that don't adequately represent and protect people's rights. And of course, it can also lead to needless churn in our legal system, bogging down our courts, causing people to have to come back over and over again, continuing hearings, more paperwork, and on and on and on. The Legal Support Center that we are cutting the ribbon on today is going to change that dynamic here in Wake County. Starting today, folks can get the support that they need without paying a dime. They'll walk up to our customer service desk, which you had to pass on the way in. They'll be able to sign in on the tablets, explain their situation to some of the staff that we have here, and directly and immediately get the service that they need to start putting their legal feet under them. Staff can provide handouts that explain what to expect throughout the legal process, what deadlines might apply to them, and what laws are relevant to their legal situation. They can also our staff can also guide visitors to our computers where they can get more information and get forms that they need. There will even be a forms bank where folks can go and get hard copies of forms, and they can work with our folks here to get more information about how to fill it out, how to fill those forms out, where to file them or submit them, and so on. And of course, we'll even have an on-site notary so that we can get formal documents completed and done and submitted as they need to be. All the while, our Legal Support Center staff are going to be taking notes on each client, each visitor who comes in, so that if and when that visitor comes back, then we'll have a record of what we were able to do for them before, and we'll pick up where we left off. It won't be like starting from scratch every time you come in. So as you can see, we're working to promote both efficiency and justice at the same time. That mindset continues with the legal clinics that we're going to have here to help provide information on important topics such as divorce proceedings, custody issues, child support. And these classes are going to be free and open to anyone who would benefit from the information that will be shared here. But that's just what we've got planned for now. In the future, the center plans to partner with other community service providers to provide additional services and to help folks even better than we will even in the short term. As public servants, we know that outcomes are better when we all work together. And that's definitely the case today with state and local leaders coming together to make this happen. Our residents will receive better support so that they won't feel frustrated and alone and unsure when they take potentially life-changing steps in really what are often some of the most difficult times of their lives. And as I alluded to earlier, our justice system will function better because residents will be better prepared in court, will decrease the backlogs in our court system, as well as the need to reschedule hearings and the other sorts of things that delay justice, unfortunately, so very often. So this is yet another instance where the right thing and the smart thing are the same thing. These improvements could reduce the time it takes to reunite parents with their children, separate victims from their abusers, and return tenants to their homes. And I really want to echo the thanks that have already been iterated already. First to my colleagues on the County Commission, then Commissioner, now Chair Shinica Thomas, as she said, was the one who really brought this forward on the county side of the street to make sure that this got the attention it deserved. We're all very grateful for her work on this. We've had a number of folks on our county staff work on this to make it possible. Our communications department, our finance department, our facilities department all came together to secure the space and upfit the space so that it would be fit for these purposes, and they all deserve our thanks as well. There are so many people who participated in this, but I really want to end by thanking Judge Ashley Parker Dunstan for her leadership. You know, there are so many times when you do things as an elected official, and you always have to be cagey about whether you're creating heat or light. And I think the real test is, but for you, lawyers are familiar with the but-for test, but for you, what would be different? Would a generic county commissioner in my shoes have done the same thing? And if that's the case, well, what difference did I make? But I can tell you that but for Judge Dunstan, this center would not exist, period. And it's that kind of leadership that can see where we need to go as a community, as a state, and to really work assiduously, day in and day out. And I've got the texts to prove it. To make this happen is just really incredible. And so I'm very excited to turn over the microphone to Judge Dunstan.
I said I wasn't going to cry, but that's okay. Welcome to the People's Center in the People's House. My heart is so full. Thank you all so much for taking the time to be here to witness this historic and life-changing moment for so many citizens in Wake County. And it is already making an impact. Just this week alone, with little to no advertising, being open limited hours from Monday and through Friday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., we have already serviced 56 individuals, 16 of which were today. Give that a round of applause. Last week, that wasn't even an option. You heard about the issues that are raised by Chief Justice Newby and also Commissioner Calabria of what it's like to be in here. And I can't thank you enough for being here on a Friday the 13th in the courthouse. Typically, we would want to be anywhere else but here, but I really appreciate you. And it's not just the fact of those numbers that you hear, the data, but it's the people that are being impacted. A man told me on Monday, because honestly, I have not stayed out of the center. Between court, I went to court. But a man told me on Monday that while his paperwork was being notarized for free, that he is so grateful for this center and that he could have never done this without him. Another individual who came in and was instrumental in buffing these floors so that they look so beautiful like they do today, came in on Monday to be serviced in this center and was excited to utilize its services. Those were options that were not here before. These are people that's lives are already being impacted because of the individuals in this room and because of all of you. And I'd be lying if I said 9 months ago I did not think that we would be here, because I knew we would be cutting the ribbon in January, and now here we are. I knew that because of two things. One, I knew that I personally was not going to stop fighting for something that I knew our county and citizens needed so desperately. And I knew that I had other amazing individuals who also felt the same way. And secondly, because of Philippians 4:13, that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I cannot take credit for what God did through me and all of us who worked on this project. I thank him for his strength, his wisdom, and the connections that he gave me to accomplish his purpose in my life, which is to make the biggest difference I can in the amount of time that I've been given. I don't know why he chose me as his vessel, but I'm grateful. And I'm so grateful for the connections like Jennifer Lechner of the North Carolina Equal Access to Justice Commission, my partner in non-criminal activity, my partner in good trouble. I thank you for the long nights, the phone calls, the text messages, all the things. Y'all need to delete these text messages. All the text messages, the tears, the laughs, and everything. I could never have done this without her, her staff, and her team, including Onley Jordan, who's standing beside of her, who her and her staff, Cornado Hodges and Rachel and everyone else that's been in here, they are boots on the ground that have been here every day excited about this center and providing that excellent customer service. And we are so grateful for the work that you're doing in here every single day. Chief Justice Newby and AOC, you have been amazing. The technology that you see in here, honestly, guys, the place has been deconstructed, so please come back next week so you can see what it actually looks like. But there's so much technology that AOC has provided. Ronnie, who is he's in the back, who has just been in here every single day, making sure that everything is running. Just the entire team and staff with AOC has been absolutely phenomenal. So I just thank you all for the time and effort that you have also put in and the support that you provided for this center. It's been amazing. Wake County, Chair Thomas, Commissioner Calabria, David Ellis, Dara, Kelly Brabant, so many individuals that have just the graphics team. Do you see this beautiful graphic? It's amazing, and the love that they put into that. We are just so grateful to GSA and everyone that has really put in the effort to make this facility as beautiful as it is. This kiosk was where I started as a DA 10 years ago. This was traffic court, and now look at the use of it, the use of this beautiful space. So thank you all so much. Ashley Campbell, who is here, the Director of Legal Aid, this was her vision 6 years ago. She passed the torch to me, and sis, we did it. Dean Leonard, Campbell Law School, staff and students who will be working in the center in just a few short months to provide limited legal representation to folks who need it as well as the center continues to expand. We're grateful for the North Carolina State Bar, Alice Mine and Brian Oden, who partnered with us to make sure that we are meeting our ethical obligations as attorneys. The Mecklenburg County Self-Service Center, we have Darwin Rice here, who is their visionary, their pioneer, their trailblazer, who traveled all the way here from Charlotte, who has also been instrumental in making sure that we had what we need to get this off of the ground and running. If we could please give him a round of applause as well. My courthouse family, I see our Chief Judge Ridgway, Chief District Court Judge Mangum, Blair Williams. I can't see everyone, I'm so sorry. So many of my fellow judges here, so many attorneys from our bar, from the 10th Judicial District and Wake County Bar Association. It is my honor and privilege to serve as your president and to just to have you play a part in this as well, and all the good work that we as attorneys are going to do as we serve and meet our pro bono service hours, and to have that opportunity to do that here in the People's House is just phenomenal. And I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. To all of my friends that are here as well, I'm so grateful that also heard me complaining and crying and everything else. I'm so grateful for all of you. And lastly, my mom and my dad, who are all the way here from Hickory, North Carolina. I called them at 7:30 and said, "Why are you not on the road yet?" But they are here, and I am just so grateful for the fact that they are always my biggest cheerleaders and have always instilled in me a heart of service. And I just cannot thank you all enough for who you are and for who you raised me to be. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Saw Judge Mangum the other day in the elevator, and he said, "So Ashley, what's next?" I said, "It's only the beginning." As we celebrate this Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, I'm reminded of his famous quote, that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We must all commit today that we cannot stop until all 100 counties in North Carolina have some sort of similar model to continue our efforts to ensure equal access to justice for all North Carolinians. Let's continue to identify ways that we can serve and love on our community even more, because we know that an educated community is an empowered community. And if we want to see the change, we need to be the change. So thank you for being and supporting that change here in Wake County. Welcome to the Wake County Legal Support Center.
Thank you so much to our speakers for their informative and inspiring remarks. So y'all, I believe that leaves us just one more thing to do. Let's cut the ribbon. You all would join me in front of the podium, please.
Once you all get seated, I'm going to give you a 1, 2, 3. everybody look right here. And we're going to do it on 3. 1, 2, 3.